Live. Yes, we are. I'm gonna give it a second because it's YouTube. What up, homeboys? This is the 12th episode of the Unofficial WoW podcast. We're today joined by Kaghoegaming right there from the space, some alien town with mushrooms on it. And we got
dude.
Jerome from my room.
Yeah, it's really nice in here, actually. Think I'm gonna stay a while.
I had to clean up when he got here, guys. I had to do some spring cleaning to make everything nice and presentable. Today we're going to be talking about the PTR in Blackwing Lair. That's right, Tier 2 Phase 5 of Seasonal Discovery. We tested the raid and we got a lot to complain about, I bet. So, guys, what class are you planning to play on Phase 5? I don't know if you tested out the new set bonuses or anything. Kago?
I'll probably just stick with my mage and feral druid tanking. I've been running the SoD Saviors Guild, so that's where my slots are. So I don't think I'll change too much, but reading those set bonuses, they look pretty awesome.
You're gonna keep raiding the on the trio characters that you got, or you're gonna scale it down?
I'm only doing two, only the two. But I
Still
could, I do have all the characters at least 41 if I really wanted to go hard, but retail's been taking a lot of my time up as well. I've been playing in the War Within and just messing around with that. Had a lot of IRL buddies come back to that. And yeah, so I don't have enough time to do a third or fourth character.
Yeah, I was gonna ask a question for that, but I'm gonna segue to it a little later. That's actually a great segue that I'm wasting right there. So, Jerome, what class do you plan to play this phase?
I'm gonna be playing Priest, and I can tell you just from a little bit of testing, Priest is really overpowered next phase. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah. There's a lot of weird bugs with Priest that nobody talks about, like the giant dome. It actually is raid wide, so it really negates some of the mechanics on fights like Veil. So unless they nerf Priest, we're gonna be really, really good, and I'm excited.
They got two really good sets to choose from too, They are gonna eat really good this phase. Really good.
Oh yeah.
Similar with the mage, they got some really cool stuff this phase. Personally, I'm gonna stick to the warrior.
Got my Ohio water. They got my Ohio water. They can finally.
Oh yeah, we're getting new water. That's so awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
new water. Yeah, tastes amazing.
I don't even care.
Machines about to pop off.
Casters don't really care about it. As a tank, I am so glad that they got water again, because it's half my time that I'm wasting just waiting for mages to drink. It's gonna make me so freaking happy, bro.
I spend most of my income on water as a priest. Most of my money goes to Strat Home Holy Water.
That in the jungle they're in. It's miserable without it. It is so bad. You have to sit there for 45 seconds if you use just the normal mage water right now to get full pool. It's
so bad that people think you're not drinking, and they actually they start to get mad at you just even though you're actually drinking. The number just doesn't go up at all.
That's me. I don't know, it's crazy. They gave you 3 times the mana and they didn't increase the water at all. What did they think was gonna happen,
Yup.
I don't know how much they increased the water.
They're big fans of the water regeneration. They love the durian, they love all that stuff. They like the idea of there being a special water that's better than the other waters, and I can see that, I guess.
Should the special water be 3 times better than all the other waters and the normal waters suck? Like tap water in America? Is that the way?
I'm telling you, this water is just as good as anyone else's water, okay? The coloring's a little weird, but it's delicious.
It's the cup.
Ohio's cleanest water. Right
water, I live in Ohio, man.
Well, the water in my room is pretty nice, I tell you what.
It's really nice.
So what's the boss you think you're
a little bit small, but it's fine. It's just hard when we both are sleeping in it at the same time. It's just there's barely enough room.
Just gotta grab me tighter, Jerome. So what is the boss that you're the most scared of currently in BWL?
I'm gonna tell you that I thought it was Firemaw at first, but the weird thing about Firemaw is the more people that die, the easier it gets. So let's say you start with 30 people. If 20 of them die, the fight's actually a lot easier. Veil is unbelievably hard with the affixes. We haven't talked about the affixes, but everything goes horribly wrong on Veil. I don't think that fight's ever going to be consistent. I don't think you can ever use world buffs on it. Like that is the scariest fight by far.
Absolutely. Like, all it takes is one guy too. That's the part that always pisses me off about Belstras. All it takes is like one guy messing up and the whole thing goes into chaos. Like threat issues, damage issues, the whole thing, the blowing up mechanic. I don't know, Kako, which the boss that you're the most scared about?
Definitely Veil or Nefarian. Nefarian's just, it throws a lot. Veil, every reason Jerome said, like, it's just crazy with the buff and the scaling and in SoD and the affixes. Like, that fight's just gonna be nuts every week. And then Nefarian, just because if people haven't done the fight, they don't know like what his class mechanics are. It switches every week too, so like he might target all those, and it can always just be a question mark that people don't know how to deal with. And then adding all the affixes on top of that can be a little scary.
There is a lot of mechanics in Nefarian, honestly. I didn't even know half the class calls. They are the same as vanilla, but I just didn't remember. I didn't think they were such a big deal until we had to do them on the PTR. I don't know, like...
When I play on my hunter, my bow breaks every single time without question, and I never have a backup bow.
That's so stupid.
That
was awesome.
All these hunters are going to be so glad they're going melee for this patch. They nerfed them for that reason.
Mechanic.
I guess. I mean, like, what do you do? I feel bad. It's like such a... Like, if it was a disarm mechanic and they disarmed you for 30 seconds, that wouldn't be nearly as bad as what they did. That's just... It costs you money every time you want to do Nefarian now.
You're sounding like a retail player. You sure you don't want to try the War Within?
Oh yeah, man, we're so back. You got no idea. But you were talking about the affixes. Like, one thing I see about the affixes, and I don't know, because you did them, I didn't do them. I think some affixes are way harder than others. Like the bronze one and the black one, where they pull new mechanics. How does that compare to like a dot? Which ones did you try?
I think this is where I think, so there's 5 affixes. You only have to pick 3 to get maximum bonus loot. We don't know like exactly what you're getting. The WoW had theorized maybe cosmetic changes, maybe bonus loot. We don't know exactly yet. But I think it's just not finished yet. I think that they're going to make us pick certain affixes to get certain loot. Because there's the Black Essence, which essentially reworks every single boss to have completely different mechanics. So it's much, much harder. For example, on Ebon Rock and Flame Gore, it's basically like 4 horsemen. You have like this stacking, like 4 horsemen style mechanic. So there's no way that you should get the same loot for doing that as you would for, say, there's one that's like an arcane bomb where everyone just has to like run in and soak it. And it's like really, really easy. And especially if you have 40 players, that's basically like not even a mechanic. So I think it's just not finished yet. And also, I think if it is finished, Wowhead or Warcraft logs, they're gonna force you to do the Black Essence. So I think like that's always gonna be required if you're doing like speedruns and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bizarre the way they chose it, honestly.
I'd really love them to see just like they put in, like Blizzard decides, like they put in 3 and we get to choose, or like you can choose to turn them on or off, and it just changes out of the 5 pool. And then, so like you get 3 of 5 and it's whatever Blizzard said, and you can turn them on or off.
That's what I originally envisioned.
Yeah. Just rotate them. Like there's 5 to choose from, and Blizzard just picks 3 that go in there, and good luck, everyone.
Like we was doing Cataclysm together, Jerome. Like you remember Hafu's Windbreaker, like the way the dragons work on the the first boss of BWD in Cataclysm?
How could I forget the good times we had with you interrupting? You were great. You did great.
That XQC guy kept yelling at me the whole time. I was killing the raid. It was awesome. But that's the way that Blackwing Descent, of course, is like the Nefarian on Cataclysm. That's the same raid. They ripped off that thing kind of from it. Like it's the same way with the affixes. You gotta choose, like there's 3 dragons every week, and it's different every week. There's a total of 5 possible, and they change the mechanics of how you play and every week, basically. And I don't know, I would rather have it that way, that is random, because what's gonna happen if you can choose this, people are gonna figure out with the 3 easiest star, and we're never gonna see the other ones. It's as simple as that.
Yo.
Isn't the bronze one, it's just like you slow down and speed up randomly? Like, then why would anyone not pick that one? That one doesn't do anything, really. And then the Black Essence one... Well, the Black Essence one is like fully reworking all the bosses. Like, that's far harder.
Yeah, that's the
Yep.
problem, right? It's like so out of whack. Like one is like you take a little more damage, you get a poison, and the other one is everything is completely different. And like I totally see the inspiration because once again in Blackwing Descent, the heroic version of every boss is just Nefarion throwing stuff at you. Basically, it's the same idea. They got it from that.
Yeah, when I read Bronze for the first time, I thought it was a haste buff, and it increased everyone's haste randomly, just making everyone attack at like 200% speed, or the boss is doing it too. I thought it'd be pure chaos when I first read that. I was like, oh, that could be fun or terrible.
You flip up on Bale, and all of a sudden somebody pulls aggro, and he breeds the whole raid because he got the haste before everybody. I don't know how it works.
As a horde member, we already experience that every single week on Veil with shamans. So, like, I don't think I did a single PTR Veil where somebody didn't rip threat within like 10 seconds.
It's crazy. Even with vigilance on them, they pull aggro off me. It's like insane, and that's with infinite rage. You know, I don't know what shamans are what they feed shamans in SoD, man, but like it's ridiculous.
They made them tanks. That's why.
They are the tank whether they want to tank or not. That's the thing about shamans.
Yeah.
And like people were saying like the Sol God offset is bad for shamans, and I'm like, no man, like they gonna have infinite aggro no matter what they do. Might as well go for the tankiness. I don't know, I thought it was a good idea. Because they got like so much threat compared to other classes. They nerf all the other classes threat and not the shaman threat. That's the insane part about it. Like mages got a threat nerf, shadow priest got a threat nerf, boomkins got a threat nerf. Like who was complaining about boomkins for God's sake? And shamans are still like ripping off threat, like they just press one button. They gotta stop auto attacking. It's insane.
Well, all the boomkin players were complaining about boomkins. They wanted to be buffed, so they gave them a threat reduction as their buff.
Hope they are happy. That's all they get.
Yeah. They did actually give them like Moonfire and Sunfire buffs as of late too, so they're getting some love.
Yeah, I forgot. They gave no more crit or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember honestly. I read too many patch notes.
Same problem over here.
Finally, yeah.
This is a little off topic, but when you start to read the War Within patch notes and classic patch notes, and you're just reading like hundreds of lines of patch notes, like I don't know. Okay, so in my dreams, I think that Vampiric Embrace got a 50% reduction to the healing. And I think that we're now getting 200% critical strike bonus damage or something like that. I think that's what's happening with Priest, but I also might have read that in the War Within patch notes. So it's like at this point, I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure Lock and Load is getting nerfed too, right? To 8 second. You can't proc it more than once every 8 seconds. The Mage Water. Then there's like a bunch of like weird like Rogue. I think gets a 20% damage reduction or damage nerf when they're in their tank rune. So I think all that's happening.
Lock and Rogue tanks are getting damage nerfed, and I guess that's to bring them more in line with the other tanks, and I know a lot of people are unhappy with it. I personally thought it was decent to have all the tanks be tanks and not, because like speedrunning guilds, the
especially
high
Warlocks.
end would only use Warlock and Rogue tanks because they do the most damage. Now all the classes will be relatively close to DPS in the same manner, and then they can do their jobs as tanks.
Yeah, they also nerfed Warlocks and increased their
going
threat.
with for that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, it didn't make any sense if you were to try hard, because the Warlock did 1200 DPS and a Warrior or, I don't know, like a Paladin, they did like 600 DPS tanking. So why would you take a Warrior or a Paladin if you're easily killing the bosses at this point? It needed to happen. Warlocks are never going to be happy about it, but it needed to happen.
Well, the reason you take the Warrior is because your YouTuber friend plays Warrior and he like just doesn't listen to reason. So you just have to bring him on the tank, and that's just how it is.
Just like in Cataclysm. I remember that.
I remember that as well. It wasn't just you either. There were like multiple people that just were like, I'm going to play the worst tank in Cataclysm and I'm just going to make everyone else be in my groups. And it's like, okay, I guess we're going to do it that way.
You gotta tank 3 bosses, but you get 2 shot. Which number is bigger, 2 or 3? Huh. That's the Warrior experience in Cataclysm in a nutshell.
Yeah, I leveled to 85 and then I was like, nah, I'm good. I played the crap out of Kata. It was like my first expansion back in the day, and I'm just like, nah, I don't. I'd rather play SoD or retail or anything else. Just couldn't do Kata again.
Yeah, honestly, like I guess I'm going in a little bit much of a tangent, but I came in like ready to love Cataclysm and ready to hate SoD, and it was like the complete opposite. You know, I went to Cataclysm, I did the tier 11, I got bored pretty quick, like in 3 weeks, and like I thought it was gonna happen to SoD, and like, it's been like what, a year? How long it's been? 9 months?
SoD came out on December 1st, so we're almost there.
Didn't you get more out of the Elden Ring DLC than you did out of Kata?
It's about close. It's about the same. I got bored at a similar speed.
Like 4 days.
More or less, more or less. I remember it was hard and I gave up. like Cataclysm. That's a perfect analogy to Cataclysm.
Yeah, I started Elden Ring.
Affixes. Oh, so I want to hear about your Elden Ring journey first.
Okay. I started it and I beat the first guy on the horse, but then I kept going and like I got to the gate and that giant troll comes out and beat my ass and sent me back, and then I just quit and uninstalled. I was like,
he's like an optional boss that you just run past. You just like run right past.
Yeah, everyone's told me that now.
You're
and
like, nope.
I'm like,
nope, I'm
yeah.
done.
Yeah, that did it for me. I'm just like, I could beat this. Like, I'm good enough to do this, but I don't want to torture myself and spend so much time. So I'm just like, nope, refund. We're going back to WoW.
What's so clear to Elden Ring players or like Dark Souls players that nobody else understands is that you can just run past every single thing. Like, you don't. There's nothing is actually necessary except like the mandatory bosses. But people always get mad. They're like, why are you running past the enemies? Well, because they're impossibly hard to kill. That's why.
Yeah, like, do you know
that was
why?
my first Dark Soul experience.
Do you know why he's called Nohitjerome?
I don't remember.
Hit challenges.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were too hard. So now we're doing WoW.
There you go.
That's a
So
good choice.
I got us real off topic, but we were talking about the five different affixes, right? And there's basically you pick 3, you get maximum loot right now. Do you think that they should have added more like time-based stuff, like the mythic idea? Like Marcia has this idea of like you know, in Stratholme where you have like the timer, and if you don't do it in a certain amount of time, you lose some of the loot, for example. Like maybe they could have gone that route.
I prefer
hate
that.
time-based anything. I hate it. I think it should be, the difficulty should be in the content itself. Time is just like, it's almost like an artificial challenge, because once you guys get it down, like, you're just forcing people to rush and maybe not go at a speed they're comfortable with. I just don't like time-based anything, even though I've done most of them in Classic and SoD, like I can do them. I just think that they're a cheap way to make something hard.
On the flip side, though, this is my counter offer. It's a great way to get the people that mess around in your guild instead of pulling to pull. That's kind of I am a Latin American. I pull everything. That's what I want to do. From my perspective, it's awesome. If you played War Within and you saw like a guy in a dungeon saying ja 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 and pulling everything, that's the way of my people, man.
I don't have a problem with that. That's usually the pace that we go at too, as with the SoD Saviors. Like, I have my hunters who are pulling everything, bringing it to me. Like, we're going, like, we're trying to clear it in a good, steady pace. I just don't like time gating or like time challenges at all. Just a personal.
Yeah, I feel like the
preference.
raids have gotten slower and slower because the boon changed. Like, now everyone's just booning after every fight. They're waiting, they're unbooning again. I feel like we're spending longer than we've ever spent in Molten Core every week now. Like, it's got to be like 2 hours at least.
So I started adopting the clear all the trash strat. So like, you clear the trash from the start all the way to Barongeddon, and then you just boon and go backwards. And then you can just crank boss. But you can only do that if everyone knows what's up. It's been pretty fun.
That actually reminds me of...
We started doing it.
One thing that pissed me off in the PTR, and a lot of people gave up on the PTR when they started wiping, and I honestly don't blame them. They forgot to put portals in the raid again. Like, again. Come on, man. Like,
don't you like running through the suppression room every time you wipe? You have to run back through again and like up all the stairs and
yeah, it only takes like 15 minutes. And so there's always one guy that doesn't feel like going, usually the Warlock, because he's the one guy that can summon you. So, of course, there's the one guy that doesn't feel like running back every time. Oh my god, man.
How do we know there isn't protection. Like... Are you sure there isn't like a teleporter like near Chromag or anything? Like they really didn't put anything?
They didn't put anything. I hope they do. Maybe it's just a PTR thing they forgot about it and they will put it. But like, that's like, in my opinion, like the one thing that makes Sunken Temple so freaking unbearable that you couldn't teleport around. Like it was like 10, 15 minutes every raid on that 1 hour raid that was gone just walking. If they don't put portals, I'm gonna be really upset. Walking back to wiping on Nefarion takes you like literal 15 minutes to get everybody back to pulling. It's awful. It's like 2004 strats.
He has a 10-minute respawn timer for a reason, so...
Yeah, that's what... It's all designed around that.
Yeah, he wants you to wipe on it.
Yeah, I think they actually got rid of that. Now that I think about it, I think we just got to him and he pulled instantly every time. That might be just me.
So you were able to wipe within 10 minutes and restart again. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't go very well for us, I gotta tell you. It took us like... It wasn't too bad, honestly. It was like 3 attempts.
The first phase like really easy by comparison, though? Like...
Oh, it's so easy.
It must have been threat related. Like, were you holding threat?
No, I didn't even have to hold threat, Jerome, because they would die before they got into melee range. They couldn't do damage the mobs because they had the vanilla HP numbers.
Oh, they were they were dying to like the mobs in like the lower area?
Like, you know how like the first fight on the fighting, you're behind the pillar and people are DPSing down with range, all the mobs when they run to you?
And you wiped on that part?
No, we didn't. We wiped on the class calls. I kept getting one shot because the class call for warriors screws warriors so hard. It's like not even funny.
I have a serious question. Does the throne strat work? If I don't want to invest in a cloak, if they're too expensive, it's not worth it. Can I stand behind the throne?
I didn't try it.
I didn't try it.
Historically, yes.
Because I'm not bringing a cloak. It's too expensive. It's not worth it.
Isn't it like 50 gold? How much is it right now? I didn't buy it yet.
Are you on Crusader Strike? I can make it for you.
No. It's about the principle of it. I don't want to buy one. It's a lot funnier if I don't have one.
True. I mean, it's a DPS increase to sit behind the throne, but, you know. Really? I think it'd be... Well, yeah, because you can have your normal cloak on the whole time.
Oh, so you're right, yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't have to do it, then you can crank. But I think it'd be hilarious if they fix it to where it just one-shots everyone. So everyone trying to do that, it just punishes all the sweaty elitists. I think it'd be great, personally.
That would I would love that they fix that if that's still the case, because like you're saying, like people are gonna make you do it. It's gonna make it like pointless. Yeah. Even if you wanna use the cloak, like the people that wanna parse are not gonna let you. So that would piss me off.
Yep.
But Nefarion fight, also the suppression chamber. I got like so much PTSD of the suppression chamber. It's super easy now. It's not hard at all. Like we didn't do the mechanics the whole time. We just 95% slow running across it. The most would just die so fast. I think the HP values are way too low. We got like 4 times the damage now.
Remember 2019 suppression room? It felt like you were reenacting a World War II battle. It was like you'd move up like a foot, and then like everyone would have to ball up and like heal up and res the dead. And then you move up another 10 feet. It's just like it was traumatizing.
It was the standing mid grinder.
Players, you know how the Alliance all complained and they got their Horn of Lordaeron? I think we should all complain and get Hand of Freedom so we can run through the suppression room like they get to.
Yeah, when did we all agree to give Horn of Lordaeron back? I don't remember that.
That's decoy.
I know it's happening, but why?
Oh, they just all complained on the forums about it, and they're like, "Shamans, it's a massive DPS increase since we all have Kings and Wind Fury now." Like,
it's amazing how you can just complain your way to changing anything in this game.
That's the number one preparation for Phase 5 we gotta do, guys. Complain about your class. How long have we been saying complain about your class, especially on Twitter?
Horde Hands of Freedom, Freedom Totem. Totem of Freedom. Just everyone in the party gets it.
Yeah, like we was like talking about like we feel bad for Agren, like he cannot go on Twitter anymore because he just says like we're gonna do X thing, and you look at the replies and it's like buff hunters, buff mages, buff my class, Agren. It's
Yeah,
just
Okay,
he
but at the
replied.
same time, like they can't stop themselves because they made this special Twitter just for the classic, right? But then they're like, we can't tweet enough stuff on there, so they just went back to their personal accounts again. Like I don't know if you noticed that, but they're still tweeting on their personal accounts about it. I mean, they're addicted to it. They can't stop
They'll,
either.
they'll
yeah.
tweet the patch notes, but that's about it.
Well, the simple reason is that molding works. If molding, when you are not right, didn't work to getting class changes done, people will stop doing it. But like, if people complain, they listen to it whether they are right or not every time. So complain. That's what I've been telling you ever since Phase 3 Warrior was not amazing. I've been saying that and it worked.
And just complain about it.
Complain. I don't like that it's the case, but that's the case, you know. Might as well get your say Phase 5 preparation done. Boomkins in the chat.
Hey.
You know what to do.
See, the big thing is that they gave us like pre-complaints almost. They gave us all the changes for Phase 5, and everyone's losing their mind over their hunters and their rogue and warlock tanks and just in absolute shambles. But then they have the fallback of it's PTR, so you know who knows? It's not actually there. You don't know that we're actually doing that change. Maybe we'll dial it back a little.
Yeah, they said not everything's final, but like I'm pretty sure every one of those posts is final or close to it. Like they're just gonna revert the lock and load change. I don't know.
Hunters are so mad.
They'll make it 4 seconds. You know, they'll move it down a little bit, so it's like, oh, it's not as bad as 8 seconds.
I don't know, man. But honestly, like most of the Phase 5 changes, I really agreed with. I think it was like probably the most positive changes I've seen in a long time on a patch in SoD. But the lock and load thing, hunters are really upset. I didn't think it was a big deal. Then they changed my mind on it. It is a big deal.
Well,
I'm
they
just
all
upset
started.
they just got that water, you know. I just think they should have been suffering forever. They do the most damage. They might as well just never regen their mana.
Yeah, it's a rough life out there. I thought it was pretty. What I wonder is if we'll be able to buy that quality of water. Like they'll put the TBC water, because that's what it is. It's just Phase 1 TBC water on vendors. Like, so you'll be able to just go buy it as well. Or if it's just going to be mage exclusive and we're just going to have to sit there in Oregon and make water forever just because we're logged in on a mage in the middle of the city.
Make money, bro. It's good.
I don't need any more gold, bro.
Can I have some of that?
I just give it away to my guildies to gear them. Like I've bought like 5
Wait, hold up,
full
is your
FR
guild
sets.
recruiting by any chance?
How do I apply?
Not at the moment.
Yeah, how do we apply? We're not getting. I have to pay money to my guild. This is the opposite experience.
I only do it if they can't actually afford anything, and then I take all the raid mats and manage it all. I try to give people guild
He's
enchants
taking
and
all
stuff.
the raid mats.
Well, yeah, we
Managing
gotta
the
give
raid
people.
mats. I've heard that line before.
Hey, it's transparent. They can see it. I post weekly updates of the guild bank, the guild money, everything. Anyone needs to ask, I can show them right there.
How do
what
we know
have.
that you're not just moving all the things back into that bank for the picture and then you move them back out again afterwards, like some sort of pyramid scheme?
Well, because someone asks for something and I give it to them, you know? Like, hey, can I get exactly that? Well, here you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's just a molten core reagent laundry operation that you're running right there. I am very concerned.
Yeah, to what end?
Money, power.
True,
Gnomes.
I guess.
Yeah, the gnomes are secretly controlling all the wealth. That's for absolute sure.
I'm not allowed to be in the frame if we're talking about that.
The gnome lobby is very powerful. I wouldn't mess with them. I know how your chair is on top of my chair.
Yeah, he's stacking chairs.
There's just
in
not
your
a lot of
room.
room in here, man. We got to put the chair somewhere.
Squeeze tighter, Jerome. There's always room next to me. What do you think is gonna be the most busted class in Phase 5? Da-da-da.
Mage. Definitely mage. I mean,
Not
they're already
mage.
busted and they're only going to get more busted.
No, our set bonus isn't that great. What do you mean?
Oh,
Mages
see,
are
we needed someone to
fine.
balance this out. Yeah.
We're not gonna just press fireball and delete everything. No, they won't make mages insane. Boomkin actually is testing really, really well. So like as far as what's gonna be surprising and like jumping the entire tier list or DPS list, like I do think Boomkin is on that radar. Mages are like 3 right now, so going from 3 to 1 isn't too big, and they're destroying hunters. So warriors also are looking insane. So
Scary.
just like classic demands, it's going to be mage warrior at the top too.
Like the warrior set is so disgusting. Like getting a Bloodthirst reset, like when it's already the hardest hitting ability in the game except for Pyroblast, that's gonna be so nasty. People are really sleeping on it. I saw a lot of people complaining that it's not good enough. Like, just you wait. Just you wait.
Yeah, I could very well see warriors being number 1, mage 2 for sure, but time
What do
will
you
tell.
think about the core forge system? Do you think that's going to have any impact on balancing? If this idea that you might be able to take your tier 2 gear and put the tier 1 set bonus on it. Like, is there a class that has such an insane tier 1 set bonus that it like might actually matter? Or does everyone just like go tier 2?
Off the
I
top of
just think
my
4 and 4 would probably be
Yeah.
really good for most of the classes. Like at least I looked at my 2, and I think mage might go 4 and 4 for top deeps. We'll have to play around with it and see how it works. Or what they could do is make it to where you can only have one set active at a time. That's
Yeah,
what
because
would
they haven't
probably
confirmed. That might be what they do.
Yeah. But the tier 1 sets, like some of them are just so game changing. Like tank druid, like I can innervate and rebirth out of in bear form now. So like I don't have to have my other tank taunt. I don't have to think about it. And so I've been playing like that for 10 weeks now, and then I'm gonna go into BWL after I do 1 or 2, switch to the new set, and then I'm gonna try to do it and then just get absolutely clapped. And it's gonna be like, uh-oh. So I like it on paper, at least, to give people player choice for that.
It's such a great change, honestly, being able to take tier 1. Like, one guy brought it up in chat, like the enhanced. I think enhancement, you can make a very good argument that they can go 2-piece tank set from tier 1, 2-piece DPS set from tier 1, and 4-piece 2 set. I think that's gonna be the meta. That's gonna be disgusting as all hell. Like, some classes got like such feral druids, 1% hit for free for all the raid. You gotta take that one. Same with melee hunters. There's like so many insane tier 1 sets that if they didn't put this in the game, nobody would get tier 2. Which is what screwed hunters for the longest time, right? That they had to take tier 1.
They also did a lot of work, like as a dev team, to make all these tier 1 sets and make them viable, since they gave one to essentially every spec. So it's also a way to keep that content in the game as well, I think.
Yeah, I am very happy for it. I think it's like one of the most positive changes this phase. I hope they keep it up and like we can use the tier 1 and tier 2 set bonuses in tier 3 too. Especially we don't know what the AQ set is gonna look like, but that's gonna be a whole nother crap show right there.
Do we get 8-piece AQ set? They're gonna give us tier 2.5 for real?
I cannot wait to wear those hideous shoulders everywhere I go as a warrior. That's gonna be my favorite part about the AQ.
The AQ is definitely the ugliest, and it's not even close.
And it's so good. That's the part
like
that
you
sucks.
just murdered a bunch of bugs, and you're walking outside in their skins.
They put eyes on it. How is eyes an armor? Do you have any idea how soft is hitting an eye? It's like the last thing you would want to be protected by, bro.
Yeah, but it's a plate eye.
Yes, it is. I guess.
Are you talking about the warrior set? I'm trying to pull up all the AQ sets.
Yeah, the warrior set with the shoulders on
the
it.
The hunter
like...
one looks horrible. The hunter one is just disaster.
It's straight up the ugliest sets they've ever put in WoW, I think.
They were experimenting with it and it didn't work.
The paladin set straight up looks like a warrior set. It's like orange.
I cannot recall a single one that didn't look hideous, honestly. Like, is there one that looks decent? The warlock one?
Pull these up. They're oh my goodness, the shaman one. I don't know. That one looks okay, I guess.
Let's see.
Okay, the warrior one is like just bright purple with like bug pieces on it.
Yep.
It's the most hideous by far.
Awful.
They look so bad.
It's like a clown outfit.
Yep.
So this right here is
just like you're a mascot for a really bad sports team, like a Division 4 basketball team, and you're like their purple superhero.
Yep. They put eyes on it, and like the shoulders are so freaking good, you gotta take them. Like even in tier 3 you still use them, so it just sucks, bro. It's just awful.
Oh yeah, yeah. Someone Matt mentioned. I think you're like a McDonald's Happy Meal toy. Is kind of what you look like. Like, but
That's
not even a
good.
good one. Like a one that was like not successful.
Yeah, like one from a movie that bombed in the theaters, you know? Like the Yu-Gi-Oh movie
Whoever
toys.
made this tier set is watching right now. I'd like to apologize. We really like your work. It's just,
No, do not no more bugs, okay? Go back to tier 2. Whatever you did on that set was great. Never go after that again. Just make tier 2 again, over and over.
Do you think the same person made the tier 2 the paladin set and the tier 2 paladin set and the AQ warrior set? Because like the
It's
paladin
gotta
set's
be.
widely considered the best set of all time. Like, right? The paladin set's amazing.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
they're
would
doing it for
say
the 20th anniversary as well.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Yeah.
have you seen
yeah,
that? Dude, it
yeah.
looks
it
amazing.
looks so good. High res remake of it.
Don't you think it makes you want to play retail a little bit? Like that's what they want you to do.
I don't even play Paladin.
Yeah, when I heard what they were
Oh.
announcing, I was like, "This is literally everything everyone wanted when like SoD was launching. Like they wanted the BRD raid, they wanted the revamped colored sets, like they wanted all that launched." I
Do
was
you
like,
think some of these ideas might have come from SoD and they're like, you know what? Let's do this in a game that has a big budget. Let's do it over here.
"Yeah,
Do
yeah,
retail, do all
absolutely,
these recolored
absolutely."
sets and stuff.
I
It
mean,
looks
the
so good,
BRD
dude.
raid looks really fun. I
Yeah,
can't
the
wait to
BRD
do it.
raid looks exactly like it's like SoD footage. It's
Yeah,
like it literally could just be a SoD raid.
With all the new
I think
models
that's
that
what they
look
did
cooler
with it.
though. Like I love my favorite one is like Baron, like not Baron Geddon, but that elemental fire elemental model, and it's just the same model, but he got abs now. He's like jacked. How can fire be jacked?
It's
How
fire.
much
It
of
can
it
be
is
whatever it wants to be.
I tell you, man, he's been working out. It is insane. The guy's like, ugh.
that? Have you
Do you
seen that?
guys? Oh, you can go.
Oh, I was gonna say that they might do a new model for Thunderan if we're getting some kind of Thunderan raid. Maybe
Yeah,
he'll be jacked.
Oh
that
yeah, they
looks
gotta
hype.
put
I
abs on
hope
that
they
boy.
make him a world boss. I hope they make him a world boss, and that's where
Yeah,
that
so
dagger comes from.
either he's an instance boss that you only kill one time for Thunder Fury, or he's like a world boss. I mean,
I
I
hope he
feel
gets
like
the Kazakazurga's treatment. I
they
think
got
that
it
would be
right. I
so
mean, if you're
good.
gonna put all the
Yeah,
work in, because so people already found the portal to his lair in the game. They like went into the game and found it, and so I mean, it looks exactly like Azure Ghost or something.
I wanna
But they
pull
couldn't
him
go
up and drag
inside.
him to Orgrimmar, bro. That's what I wanna do.
well, like
You can't do
we
that
had to
ever again.
bring when I did
Man,
it in 2019 Classic. We brought our whole raid team, and we even had like the other raid teams there to support our guild leader crafting the first one. So like
There was
we actually had to bring 40 people to take him down. So
in Fairlina, there were actually like wars over it. Like Sony had like 500 people fighting to stop him, and like
yeah.
Shroud was there. Everybody was fighting. It was amazing, and it was. I mean, we're gonna be missing out on that, which is kind of a bummer. But I mean, if everyone's on one server, I can see why they might want to instance some of this stuff.
I wasn't aware of the Ferlina thing. I was in like Fairbanks, and like the way it worked out is that like one guy would get it and people would go and like trade chat, oh, this guy's gonna get it, and people went out to help. Like it was like a big deal. Like people wanted to see it. I know. I didn't know people were griefing each
Yeah, no,
other.
I went on the server. Somebody invited me to a server to go to their party for it, and there was nobody got murdered or anything. But on Fairlina, like people will try to like ruin your day. They're like, "Can I ruin this guy's Thunder Fury party?" They
Yeah,
plan a whole like crash.
I was on Scarum for it, and Onslaught had already annihilated the Alliance to transferring off the server. So we were 99% horde there, so we had no competition or anything.
The one guy on Scarum is like, I object to this, and then like 800 people killed him.
Yo,
I'll show
do
you.
you guys? Damn, busting out the hammer. Do you guys think we're gonna see Phase 5 first, or do you think we're gonna see the mega servers first?
I hope we get the mega
Yep.
servers first.
Somebody that I thought knew stuff just implied that it would be within like 2 weeks for the mega servers, but like there's no way, right? Like the
Yeah.
tweet that the server guy, whose name I should know, Tom Ellis, I think, he was
Yeah,
tweeting
yeah.
about how he had maybe just started working on it like recently. I don't think it'll be within 2 weeks.
Yeah, like he announced it, and then everyone was like, "Sweet, okay, like the good or bad," and then we just haven't heard anything for a couple weeks about it.
You
So
guys
I'm
really
just
think
like,
that their tech can support everyone being on the same server? Like, I'm not 100% sold on this idea.
I don't buy
I mean, it
it
works
because
on
why did they
retail.
wait until population died? If if they really could support it from the start, why would they wait until population died in phase 3? You know, that's why I don't buy it. I don't
Oh,
think it's a
I would
tech.
say for two reasons. One, retail, it works exactly that way. Like there aren't really servers anymore, and everyone's kind of just in there and can be layered and transferred to whatever out in the world. So they kind of have like the cornerstone for that. And then two, I would say there's just too many servers that like have enough people that they don't want to kill it off, but like they're in like sort of a limbo state, but like they have too many people to just delete it. And so that's why they want to send everyone everywhere, and it helps for the flexibility that we're seeing being added to these raids, like the 20 to 40 man BWL, the 10 to 20 ZG, like pugs will definitely be a thing again. Now, what I don't know is if they're going to use pre-existing servers. So, like the NA PvP server would definitely be Crusader Strike. So, would everyone come to here, or are we going to see just new PvP, new PvE, and they're going to process millions of transfers to all of those? That's what really worries me.
Everyone in my guild seems to think there's going to be a whole extra new server coming. I don't know why they all think that, but that I mean, immediately I was like, everyone's coming to Crusader Strike. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
But
that was my
no
thought
one
too.
thinks that for some reason, and I don't know why no one thinks that unless it's not happening.
Yeah, I absolutely thought that too, just from reading it. And then people started commenting. They're like, "Oh, we're getting new ones." I'm like, that just logistically doesn't make sense if like Crusader Strike has 90% of the people on it, or like 80%, 70%, however many we
Even if
have.
it's 50, it's still
Like,
like stupid
yeah,
to make a new
even
one.
half the people, yeah, half the people are already here, something like
I'm
that.
not supposed to talk about this because it's clearly bad for the game, but I've been making characters on every single server so I can manipulate the auction house and profit when the transfers happen, right? I shouldn't talk about this, but what I was going to say is all the servers I've been on have pretty good populations. They're all like recruiting for raids and stuff. And people are all buying my chrono boons on every server. So, I mean, it's not like the servers are totally dead. I think that's like what everyone thinks, but
You're
these servers
selling
are like,
chronoboons.
well, yeah, I'm building up a nest egg so I can do bigger flips, but yeah. I'm
If you
just buying
get
chrono boons and flipping them.
if you have reputation with the city, you can buy chrono boons and then you
Yeah,
can
these are
sell them
all
on
level
the
ones,
AH.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
People are lazy and they don't go to the reagent vendor or
yeah,
find them. They just buy their chrono boons off the AH. So it's like a really
yeah. But
easy
please
way
don't
to
talk about that because
I
that's
didn't
my
know
my
people
main
did
method
it.
right now. Oh yeah, yeah, they do
yeah.
that for sure.
Back in
But
phase 3,
that's
I did
I'm
make some money off it because in Booty Bay you cannot buy chronoboons. So I did make like a 1 gold profit or something like that, but each of them. But
people buy them like crazy. But the thing is, these servers. I'm trying to say these servers are not as dead as it seems. Like they're actually people are raiding on them. People are playing. They're like still probably bigger than like the 2004 size servers. So they're not like dead or anything.
yeah, man, I tell you, like, people keep saying SoD is dead. I think, like, one of the reasons that we had, like, such a pop-up stream on the PTR is that most streamers decided that SoD was dead, and, like, the interest is there. It's been growing every week since Phase 4 came out. And there's more people coming every day. We're coming
It's
back.
just the problem is the war within has
Yeah,
tricked us all.
I think that's what happened.
It's
Oh, we got
I
the
don't
numbers today from Ironforge Pro, and SOD only lost like 4K. Like it's hovering at that between 80 and 90,000 that it's been at since Molten Core launched.
That's
So
more than Kata,
SOD is
isn't it?
holding. Not yet. We're on in 3 weeks. We will be more than Kata if Kata keeps plummeting. Like Kata is falling rapidly, and it's very alarming if you're a Kata player. Like it's. Whew, it's scary. That was pretty much what my video was today, comparing Kata and SOD together. So it's yeah.
I tell you, I was so excited for Kata, and I did like two raids, and people yelled at me for killing the raid, and I got bored. I feel bad now. I made so much Kata videos. I think
I
that's what happened
remember
with everybody.
Yeah, no, the Kata definitely, like, if you made a mistake in that first raid, people were yelling for sure because it's one of those things where everyone that plays Kata already knows the fights pretty well.
I know
But
the
I will
fight. That
say
was
that
bad.
the new the new hub is coming out. I think the PTR is live right now, and they're announcing raid dates like really soon for PTR testing. And I do think that raid tier is going to be really good at least. So that might be like the last way to save Kata.
Firelands, yeah. Everyone
Yeah,
loves Rag.
Fireland's coming.
Rag
I think
gets
we'll be
legs.
PTR testing it really soon, like within a week.
Yeah, Firelands was definitely the best raid of that expansion for sure. Like I loved it back in the day.
Well, I've just heard a lot about this whole like feat thing with Ragnaros, so I'm like pretty excited.
Yeah, it's really crazy. He just, he sucks up the giant lava pool. Like how in Molten Core,
Don't
he's in
spoil
a
it, man.
lava
I don't.
pool.
I'm getting pumped for this. Don't spoil it, man.
Oh, okay, okay,
You're
okay.
telling me I don't want to know. Don't tell me if he like stands up or something.
Yeah, no, Rag just has feet.
No
That's all you
legs.
need to know.
Don't forget about it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I'm happy for it because I think they waited too long. Like that's like a whole nother problem, and that has been coming this year. And like we come from like a dead year for Classic, in my opinion. I think 23 was like there was nothing that year almost in Classic. That's why like people were doing hardcore because there was no new content. We got Cataclysm, we got SoD, and we got a retail expansion in the same year. There's no time in the schedule. Like it's really hard for Blizzard to like fit a good time to release stuff now.
Yeah, they just want you to play all three at once. What do you mean?
I will tell you, yeah, if you're playing retail, like it suddenly fits perfectly. It's like, oh yeah, I just play retail for this month and SoD next month. The problem is when you restrict yourself, which is what most of us have been doing for years, it feels really dead. But if you do it the way they want you to, all of a sudden, like the content is just flowing.
Oh yeah,
you just have to give in to the corporate interests.
I mean, it's almost like as if they charge you per month that you play, so they stagger it a month each. Now, isn't that like a little curious?
We're gonna get in a lot of trouble if we start talking about how their business model, but it's possible that's the case.
They could just want as many people as possible playing World of Warcraft, Like, it does advocate for that, too, because, like, some people really are diehards one way. Like, they will only play Classic. They will never go to the War Within. They'll never play retail again. So, it could just be that as well.
I think it's probably this has been the greatest year for WoW in, like, 5 years or 4 years. Easily.
I think next year when Classic Plus is released, that's when it's going to be the best WoW year ever.
Yeah.
Spring 2025. Remember the date.
You sure about that?
What year are we in now? That's very soon. You think it's coming in spring 2025?
Because that's when Kata and SoD will, by their timetables, that's when it'll end. So that is the one golden opportunity to let it die, let Cataclysm die, let SoD die, and then launch Classic Plus.
What about a TBC remix in retail though, where it's like the MOP remix but TBC? It's like they don't do TBC; they just give us like sort of TBC.
That feeds everyone's TBC fix that they missed and want back.
They have to do something about that. We're starting to go TBC crazy around here.
Well, like I love TBC. I loved it doing. I never got to do it as a kid, so doing it when Classic 2021 is when it came out. So doing it there was really awesome because I loved the raids being actually hard, taking a bunch of like quality of life changes that needed to happen, like with the buffs and just all that stuff was really awesome. It was like a really refined Classic, so I loved playing TBC, and I'd love to see it again.
What about SoD TBC? Marcia suggesting that.
Just make TBC, remove flying mounts, and that's it. That's a perfect expansion. That's all they gotta do.
Wait, how do I fly around then?
Put a portal or something. You can figure it out. You're smart.
Have you ever done Blade's Edge Mountains?
Yeah, how do we get around? How do I get to Gruul?
Yes, I did actually. I did do that.
Have you gone to Netherstorm? Like,
how do we navigate Netherstorm? I'm not even convinced you can get across like the initial like part. Wait, what about those raids? What's that one raid? TK. How do we get to TK?
Yeah.
Put an elevator, man. Or a really long ladder.
We straight up smuggled a guy that didn't have flying into TK. You had to like summon at like the perfect location. And it was like really intense.
Yeah, like in private servers, they were like so upset at people doing that they wouldn't like let you zone in. Like you would say you need a mount to zone in, and they would kick you out to
Oh,
the
come
raid. It
on.
was so stupid, man. I didn't get it. I wasn't gonna spend money on flying. I got like 3
I would
characters.
I would love to see SoD TBC, but I feel like that kills the dream of Classic Plus. Like if they continue, like SoD TBC would be hella fun, but like they wouldn't do it and then do Classic Plus soon as well. So
Yeah,
like
why
that's
wouldn't they
where I
just
am.
do Classic Plus in 2026 though? Like, why it? I mean, I'm just saying.
'Cause
Like, maybe it'll take a long time to
yeah,
do it
I
right.
mean, it just depends if they want to do mop or not. Like they just did mop remix, so I think the remix method is where they want to go for revisiting the future expansions. So people will just remix them like they can just release them that way, and then they can have Classic Plus be its own game, and then they can have the player bases in Classic Plus and then retail, and that's it instead of the 18 different WoWs that we have now.
I mean, like you were talking about the Cada population on your video. Was it yesterday or today? And like, I
Yeah.
completely agree with it. Like, you look at Cataclysm, and I think Blizzard is terrified of how Pandaria is gonna look like when you look at the Cataclysm chart.
Yeah, it's fallen twice as fast and it's hit a low point that we only saw that low point on week like 24 of ICC. Like that's where it's at this exact moment, and that's really scary that it's 8 weeks into its cycle or like 10 weeks. I don't know exactly when Kata came out, but it's pretty worrisome to see that big of a fall off that fast when all of Classic since 2019 had a higher population for the majority of the time. It's just scary.
Do you think the reason the population went down is because they allowed GDKPs though? I mean, I'm just saying. I did GDKP. I made 20K, and now I don't have to play anymore. I'm good.
Yeah, so the problem is that people who did GDKPs have been doing them since 2021 with Naxxramas. That's like when it took
True.
off. I know people like my guild that I had raided
The
with the
discords are
entire
run by
time.
those
Like,
people, yeah.
yeah, they never stopped. Like they've just been doing millions and millions of gold for 5 years straight, and so then that just inflates the market to a point where you either have to buy gold to play the game or you quit.
Eat those beans.
Sorry, we have
Smile.
a momentary bean break here on the
Oh,
Oh, I'm
podcast.
gonna have to eat a can
The
of beans. Somebody gave me
you
10
gotta use
bucks.
some
Thank
the
you,
beans.
implication was
H20.
that it would.
I told you
The
people pay me
implication
to
was that
eat
you
beans.
do it
They didn't
immediately,
believe
though,
me.
right?
You guys didn't believe me when
Wasn't
I
the
told you.
implication that you do it on the spot? Like you eat the bean? Do you have it ready, or you? We can take a
I
minute
got a
here.
can of
We're ready.
beans in my kitchen. Actually, I
Okay,
got a
I mean-
question while I go get the can of beans. That could actually work
Okay,
here.
great.
Because I wanted to
Jerome
take a
can
pee
go make them
anyway.
for you. He can go
Yeah,
make them
bro.
for you.
I bought black beans.
Oh yeah, let me go get you those beans real quick.
I actually got black beans, and like I didn't make it to the stream. I just ate them because I was too tempted to try them out. I never had black beans before. It's the same beans. It's not interesting. Jerome left my room, bro. He went to get the beans.
Hell
Okay.
yeah, he's getting the beans for you.
I got a
We're all out of
question. I
beans,
can
I'm
hear you, by
sorry.
the way. Meanwhile, are you worried about power creep in SoD since we keep getting like 20% more stats every tier? Do you think like by the time we get to tier 3, it's gonna be like classes are gonna start breaking with all the crit? Do you worry about that? I'll be back.
I don't
No.
worry about it. Well, I don't worry about it because priests were completely broken from the second I started playing them. So I mean, I've honestly been getting weaker over time. Like, remember level 25 priest in PvP? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of maxed my power creep out at the start. So really, anything they do at this point doesn't affect me much.
So true. I don't think it's too big of an issue because they can just always make the bosses 20% harder, right? Like it's not too hard to make their mechanics hit harder. It's not too hard to scale that. They've pretty much nailed Flex, like sort of rating system and that idea of the scaling. So I think they'll easily be able to meet any need that we have. And that's what these PTR tests I think are for. They tested phase 4, they're testing phase 5, so like they can see where we're at. Test work data really helps them a ton to determine that.
Well, I was gonna say something, but like I don't know, our co-host being gone just threw me off a lot. He's just I don't know. I hope he comes back at some point. I'm directionless.
Maybe he's eating the beans just out there alone. eating the beans off stream. He's gonna come back with like some beans on his face and be like, "Yeah, I ate them all."
I like that. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have power creep. It's gonna be for warriors. They're gonna benefit the most, and it's gonna be annoying, but that's how it's gonna be.
What I want them to do is give us some new profession stuff. We have
Yeah,
not gotten anything new for fishing, cooking, or first aid the entire SoD, and I know that's really minor, but I really enjoy fishing, if you didn't know that from all the fishing videos I've made. Um, but like I think it's such a gold mine to address like the water and food problem. Like we just haven't had anything to address that. So instead of just putting TBC water on a vendor, give us some new fish to catch, give us some new fish to cook, and allow us to feed our people.
yeah. You've made so many fishing videos that you tricked me into fishing. Like, and I tried it, and it was not fun. Like you're like, oh, I fished for 45 million hours, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but it's not. I don't know how you get enjoyment from it, but I can't relate to it.
You're gonna get
When
fish
I
juice. That's what you're gonna be drinking for mana.
Hey, that's fine if it gives
I
me
don't know.
10,000
I kind of
mana.
regret this. I was hoping they'd be like what kind of beans are those?
White kidney beans, the only beans available in my country. It sucks.
I'm
We
not
don't
sure
get
those
red
are
beans or
edible,
anything.
like in a can like that. I'm not sure you're
We're
supposed to
gonna
eat them
find
like
out.
this.
I ain't dead yet. But I wish I was.
Do you like them? Are they good?
They taste like nothing, man.
So you got $10 to eat nothing?
While you're working on that, do you have a question for us?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, the reason that I was saying the power creep thing is I think warriors and rogues are gonna start breaking when they hit crit cap. Like, tanks in particular, too. Like, you weren't really supposed to hit avoidance cap. And now you will, so the crushing blow mechanic is not gonna work. How are they gonna make bosses work? Are they gonna be doing, like, 25% more damage than they're supposed to just to counteract the crushing blow mechanic? How are you gonna balance
I have
bears
this
around
really
it?
original idea. They add an aura to the raids that negatively impacts the tanks, and then wait, I mean they did that. They already did that in TBC,
Yeah.
and it was horrible. Everyone agreed it was like the worst thing ever.
Bears
It
go
felt
from this
terrible.
Black Temple to absolutely useless in Sunwell.
Just instantly dying in Sunwell for hours and hours.
You know, their
It's pretty
entire
much the worst thing.
kit built around dodge. Yeah, we're just gonna yoink that away, have fun.
What
It's
you
so
mean you
sad.
cannot block? You're a bear.
Yeah, they can only dodge, which makes the most sense because they're a bear, you know? Bears are really agile and dodge worthy.
I know they cannot parry. I remember like in private servers, like I don't know if it was I didn't play classic TVC actually, but like in private servers the meta was to like get 2 dodge trinkets and literally pray that with like 90% dodge you wouldn't get hit once during the bad phases of it, or you would die. My tank got one shot so many times in TVC. It was so
TBC 's
I
stupid.
feel
not
like
for the
that's
faint of heart.
Kata tanking strategy too. You were just like, as a warrior, you just could just die at any time, and you were just had to put up with that as the healers.
Yeah, you know, the debuff of Rolling Warrior. How dare you play a warrior in Cataclysm? It's your fault, man. You know, I don't know, I was kind of hoping they would buff it or something. Like, people say it gets better, it doesn't get better. God help him. Very well. One other thing that I think I should have brought it up earlier. Do you think the population for Phase 5 is going to be higher or lower than Phase 4? I think that's a teaser right there.
I think because of the flex rating, where you can do between 20 to 40 players. Now you're probably you're getting less loot overall because you have more people competing. But I think that's still going to be really appealing. Like I can just bring my ult to some really, I can bring it to San Medina's pugs and know that we're probably going to eventually clear the raid and I'm going to get some loot maybe. Yeah, and maybe some beans. And yeah, I think that the flex rating is like right now you have to have a character, you have to get the heat level gear, you have to find a guild. Like it's just the barriers are really high and the pugs are like pretty non-existent.
Yeah, all those points, absolutely agree. And one more is that even with all those barriers of entry, SoD has, since Molten Core, it has fluctuated maybe 5,000 people at most. Like it is holding that 80 to 90K. So getting more hype, getting everyone on the same server is going to be huge. Like as long as we get mega servers at phase 5 launch or right before it, everyone will be together and everyone will be able to raid. I could see it going like 150 to 200k easily because of those two. Like it's like a perfect storm.
Yeah, I think like the main thing that slow down phase 4 is the hit mechanic, because you are effectively like cutting in 3 pieces the pool of raiders that can come to your pug. It's definitely felt a lot harder to fill in phase 4 than it was at the start of phase 3, for example, and I blame the hit mechanic for that. Like if you want to do hit 2, nobody wants to go a pug for hit 2, you know? Or hit 3 guys help your soul. Like if you're like 19 out of 20 hit 3, good luck finding a 20th guy to go. You're not gonna find it. You know, you either do hit 1 with a pug or you don't pug it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted the heat system to be so good, but seeing how people are struggling with it in so many different ways, like I've ran a guild the entire time for phase 4, so like I managed the resources. I made sure everyone had their heat stuff ready. Like we progressed upwards, so like for me it seemed really fun and I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and I have a well-off guild and we're doing stuff. But now we're starting to see people leave fill, and to do heat 3 finding a fill was just impossible. And since molten core is hard locked at 20, we can't like really field an active bench, so it's just been, I'm starting to see the holes in it.
There's another problem, which is, let's say you don't have a shaman in your group for 1 week, like your whole gearing changes completely. And I don't have a backup plan, so like I just had a group without a shaman last week, and I died like 6 times. And it's not like you're dying from like a mechanic; you're just instantly dying. It's like, oh well, you don't have a shaman, your resistance isn't high enough, so you just die.
Yeah, I made everyone get 200 FR because 200 plus the Mark of the Wild buff gives you the cap. So I just made everyone to have that and plan for no shaman, even though we have shamans in every group. But just for that, I made them get higher FR to account for that, because I don't want them, mainly because in Heat 2, when we were doing Rag and people were hard relying on the totems, Rag would knock them out of it and they would just get insta-conflagged and be like, well, nothing we can do about that.
But I don't think it was intended by Blizzard to have to like build your comp around these totems and auras and stuff. Like that makes it yet another like difficulty for finding people.
I think very little was intended by Blizzard, because I think they just cranked it out in an afternoon and they didn't think it through very well. I think that's the main problem with the hit mechanic. If I gotta be quite honest with you guys.
Wasn't that how they made original Molten Core in the first place? They were just keeping with their tradition. It makes sense.
They crammed it in a week. That's actually true.
Took a lot longer, so yeah. And BWL took a lot longer, so they have to put a lot more time into it.
They are going for Blizz-like, completely accurate development cycles, you know? I can feel that.
How are the beans treating you, by the way?
They taste of nothing. It's pretty bad. It's like biting through, you know, like dogs when they got their water bowl and they drink through it, and like they got like the like slop on it. Tastes like that. Don't ask me how I know that taste, okay?
Yeah,
you're really selling these beans.
Yeah, you should like make it more enjoyable, man. Like eat a pint of ice cream, take a shot, something like that.
I ate a pine cone one time. I do not recommend it.
I think next week we should do a taste test of Mage Water IRL. Kagho can do it this time because he's the mage guy, so we can see what it tastes like once and for all.
Oh, we gotta get Telo for that Hydration Nation, man. He got like a whole commercial for water every video. If that's the guy, he couldn't come today,
does he have a water sponsor? That seems like an insane get to get a water sponsor.
I know, he does mention a brand of water every video, but I don't think they are sponsoring him. I just think he really likes that brand of water.
Well, Ohio brand tap water tastes amazing. Straight from the river.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, you don't even need holy water for the exorcism in Ohio. Just throw tap water at people and they melt.
Just melt.
Why are you hating on Ohio water? It's pretty good, man.
Well, we had a train derail into our water supply.
Are you up? I guess you're near that area.
Within 1,000 miles of it.
Well, gotcha.
Probably flows around.
I'm in Ohio too, so that's why I was.
Wait, you're in Ohio too? We never hang out.
Yeah.
I'm in Columbus.
Oh, I'm in Cincy, so
Oh, that's that. You don't know this, Medina, but that's about as far away as you can get.
not
Do
as
we live in
far
opposite
away
tips
as
of
you.
Well,
Ohio?
Cleveland to Cincinnati is the furthest. Like Cleveland to
Yeah.
Cincinnati is like 3 hours.
Oh, it's 4 most of the time. Like it's nutty. I have a
Wait,
lot of college
Cincinnati.
friends that
That's where
live there
Harambe
now.
died, Ohio East Coast.
Yeah, we have a lot of newsworthy events here.
Ohio's lit, dude.
Wait a minute. You live near that zoo? Was that a? We shouldn't
Yeah.
be talking about this on a stream, but that
I
must
knew-
have been a
I
big
knew-
big news.
I
Did
knew.
you know him personally?
Yeah, I met him when I was like 5.
Oh no! You did? Did you like shake his hand and stuff?
No, I saw him in the exhibit.
Okay.
Were you the kid that go inside the cage?
Oh my god!
Obviously not. I was actually off at college when that whole thing happened, so I didn't like
Crazy! I
see
didn't
all
know
the
you were a
hype.
kid. Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Well, we really
totally.
derailed this podcast. We started with the beans, I think.
Beans to Ohio, and now we're just completely fried.
Do you have any other WoW things?
I don't know, do I?
I don't know. What else could we talk about for Phase 5?
Well,
Oh,
the
I got
ZG
one.
There's new ZG tier sets. Oh, okay, never mind.
What do you say? Uh, what do you say?
I was going to talk about the new ZG tier sets. They've buffed the ZG stuff. They've added new tier sets for pretty much every spec, which is exciting. I think it's kind of what they did with BWL. But yeah, ZG stuff and the bloodied weapons too. So I don't know if those are. It looks like they're just cosmetic for now, but I don't know if you guys did ZG. I did ZG. Didn't seem that different. And the loot wasn't dropping because they hadn't finished it yet.
It was
but
disabled,
when
yeah.
you killed bosses. Well, when you killed bosses, you could select a buff, and they were like 5% lifesteal was one of them. And our DPS went crazy because they hate healers. So they were like really excited about that. And yeah, it seems like there's going to be some new stuff with ZG, and it's 10 man, but you can flex to 20 if you want. So it looks very similar to BWL, and there's a lot of new gear. And it's like none of it's quite as good as BWL gear, but it's still like obviously the trinkets and stuff are amazing too, and like all the crazy
Some
sets
of the
and stuff.
sets are better, I dare say. Like the Tanking Shama set is nothing to sneeze at, and the what is it? The Frost Mage one is pretty good. I mean, Frost Mage sucks, sadly, but the tier set is good. Honestly, it's not bad.
I was shocked that if they are doing this, is doing CG and BWL at the same time. I figured they could have done these separate for the gearing problem, and as well as like the crafting gear from ZG is insane. Like every caster's getting that blood vine instantly. So it's really weird with where the gear's at, and I don't know how like Bislists are going to be really weird and really sought after. That's for sure. Whether or not like because you're going to be able to do tier 2, you're going to be able to do tier 1, you're going to even, some people might even use their 0.5, and then you have ZG tier as well. Like some people might just straight up go 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and that could be your most damage, and it's going to be fun to theory craft it all, and I can't wait to get like official gear numbers instead of just data mined things with it.
So the idea, I think, is they don't want new players to have to do the 0.5 quest line anymore. Like that's just too much. They're like, we're gonna put out ZG. It's if you do it 10 man and you don't skip priests, because I think we don't know for sure, but if you skip priests, I think you'll get bonus loot or something like that from Hakar. So if you just do all the priests legit, it's actually really easy. It's like Ubers basically. So they're gonna use it as like this catch up raid where it's like the entry level catch up. And if you want to make it harder and get better stuff or more loot, you can do less priests. But I think that they're trying to skip the 0.5 questline stuff because like that's way too much work for the average new player.
I wasn't gonna do it anyway.
Yeah,
Everyone loves the 0.5 quest. What do you mean?
I love spending all my gold.
It costs like hundreds of gold. It takes like at least 15, 20 hours, it feels like. And it's probably a lot harder to find groups now, too.
I described it as 50 hours and 500 gold back when it was week 1 and week 2, and I turboed that really quickly. But yeah, it took me like 50 minutes of recording just to cover every single step and explain it well enough so people could do it.
Yeah, just read gives me a headache. Like it's just too
Yeah.
much to
Oh,
read.
I remember that. I made a guide before the phase came out because I was like researching it and I saw it and I thought it was ridiculous. So I made a guide that was also like 40 minutes or something ridiculous like that. And like every single comment I got was like, screw that, not doing it. I don't like the set anymore, guys. I'm not gonna do it. Every single comment. No, man, no way.
Yeah,
It was
it's
awful.
wild. I didn't do it on my druid. I said, nah, I'm good.
There are a
Guys,
lot of people like Little Rock in the comments that are working on 3 sets, 4 sets of 0.5. I know Simon Eyes has 3 rogues that he did back to back to back, all with the set. And it's just like some people just have an addiction. It's like your bean addiction. They just can't stop doing the 0.5 quest line.
I mean, it's a good quest line. It's probably like the second most epic one in Classic, other than the AQ one.
Yeah, I used to say things like, "Oh, RuneScape had way better quests," and like WoW doesn't have enough epic quests. But if you actually do these kind of quest lines, they are really epic. Like
The
much
first
better
time-
than like as a kid, I just never knew about any of this. Like, why would I would never do the 0.5 quest line. So
Yeah,
I just
normally
didn't know
it
it
comes out
existed.
at AQ too, so it's like you gotta like by then if people have all that ZG and BWL gear that they don't really need it unless they're making a new
Stand up
character.
for new characters in the original classic. Like, who was gonna do that? Like the 50-hour quest line. Who was gonna and spend 500 gold? Who was gonna do that as like a kid in 2004?
Especially
Yeah,
because it came out super late too. It didn't come out until like tier 2, I think. So it was useless.
They launched it at AQ when they revamped all the gear. So like Classic at AQ had a gear revamp. We've only seen it revamped in Classic, but like the original Tier 0 used to be absolutely terrible. And like, so they released the upgraded quest line with the new gear as well because they revamped it all. So that's why I think they did it. But yeah, having it at AQ is not the play, especially nowadays when everyone knows about it.
You know, one thing that I'm concerned about with like phase 5 is I don't want Solgorop to come out before BWL. Like, of course I wanted to stagger it. I would like them to do like 1 week one raid and the other week the next raid. That's the way I would do it. You know, to stretch out the feeling of new content. But I would like to get BWL first. I think that would make it like a bigger challenge. I think if Solgorop loot is gonna trivialize progression a lot.
I don't know. Your raids must have gone perfectly, but my BWLs were a nightmare. And I don't think any amount of gear would have helped them at all. Like, I don't think if we were 30% better, I don't think it would have helped. Like, everyone was dying on every pull. You're not going to be able to rely on world buffs because you're just going to die all the time. Like,
Yeah.
Fire Maw's a nightmare, Veil's a nightmare, Flame Gore, Ebon Rock, they're
Fire
complete
Maw?
nightmare. Fire Maw, the boss that literally everyone dies to, and you have to 10 man it every time because only 10 people are smart enough not to die.
Yeah, but
How
you
do
can kill
walk
him with
behind a
10
wall
people
and drop
though.
your
That's what
stacks?
happened.
It's way too hard.
I don't walk behind the wall. As a priest, I just go angel form now, and that removes my stacks.
Like, we just pulled it. I didn't know what he did. The guy said something like going to this door frame. I stood in the door frame, 10 people died, and he died. It was the easiest boss ever, bro.
It's amazing. The raid leader always has like this whole strategy of where the boss is going to be tanked and where like 2 different groups are going to stand on different sides. Our group had 3 groups because there's like this new mechanic with the black essence. So we had 3 groups and they all died. Like everybody just died in all the different groups. Nobody did the mechanic. It was great.
That's the problem. We're doing
Yeah.
affixes. I think like vanilla BWL is gonna be like without affixes is gonna be really easy. Except maybe Ebon Rock and Flame Gore. That's the only one that I think, and Bell, of course. The other ones are super easy, man.
My plan for week 1, as of now, was to turn on the bronze one and turn on the red one, and then just expose people to BWL mechanics, and then we'll press for harder ones later. I'm not about that. Just going in there and just dying a whole bunch to say we did it on hard mode week 1. I'm good on that.
Especially because nobody
The problem
cares.
is, well, the problem is on Warcraft logs. If you go on their Discord, which is fun to do if you make videos or anything, it's really fun to like look at the Warcraft logs like staff as they're deciding the rules, and they're thinking about only showcasing if you do like a certain number of affixes, if you do 20 man, like it'll be pretty much that's the only way to be on the leaderboard is like one of the things they're discussing. So if you want to like have good parses, because like if you do 10 man kata, it doesn't show up. I don't know if it shows up like on their front page. Maybe it does.
Yeah.
But
It's
But they're gonna really limit visibility if you're doing like say like a 30-man with no affixes or something.
And they gotta
yeah,
put a limit on the
that's
flex thing because that's gonna make the fight so short.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
some of them are like real DPS checks, and like if you're doing 40-man, it's gonna really change the fight.
That's Belly in a
I
nutshell.
Like
talked
Veil with
about
40.
I talked with my guild to expand to like 25-man roster, and that way we like if someone sits out, someone's gone, we're fine. And they're all like, "No, it'll ruin our parses. We can't do that. We need 20 men." And I'm like, "You are
I love
right, and
that.
I know people care about that, but
That's
I'm
literally
like,
the first thing anyone thinks about when they're like, "Oh, we've added flex rating so anyone can play with their friends." And no, people are like, "No, we can't parse if we do that. We
I
we
hate
can't bring
friends.
22 people. We've got to
yeah."
bench our friends and replace them with a class that we need.
What I
Yeah.
We
would
need a
love
shaman. Forget about Gary."
I would love to see them just, Warcraft logs have parses by the number of people that are in there. Like, would it be
Oh my
that
god,
hard
I'm
to
number
do?
one at 31 people, dude. My guild's amazing. We're the
Oh,
best
yeah.
31 person guild in the world.
And I mean, how often do people really brag about their parse in that way, right?
All
Like,
the time.
You
I
clearly
That's
never
know.
most
been
of
in
our
Swamp
identity is in my
before.
guild.
You clearly never been in Swamp
Swamp,
before.
that's all we care about. That's all we do and
It's
all we care about.
I've been in some of the elitist guilds too, where everyone just talks about parses. But outside of that group of people, I don't think it's really talked about. Like you said, oh, hey, I had a rank 1 parse in Wrath of the Lich King and Uldaman on a Boomkin
Said
once.
it just
Like,
now. You just bragged
yeah,
about it
yeah,
just
yeah,
now.
there you go. Yeah.
Humble bragging.
So, other than that example right there, I've never like felt the need to say that out loud anywhere
I'm gonna check with
personally.
your guild and see if that was the case when the raid was live. Because like when I was in GDKPs, all they talked about, all of them, was their parses. Like they would talk about their parses before the raid, after the raid, on the fights.
I mean, I'm a tank, thank God. And I think like a big reason that I still play a tank is that I really don't want to deal with parses. Like I feel bad every
Maui was
time.
tanking our raid. Maui was tanking our raid, and the first thing he'd said after he tanked the fight was, "Wow, I got number 8 on that fight." So even you can check tanks too. I don't know if you know this, but there are
Tank
tank parses
parses are
as
the
well.
best. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you can
that's
look really
Just
good if you're like pumping.
like that's one of
you
the
just
reasons that the
wear
Warriors
Kagyu.
like really get upset at my guys because I was doing the deep prot thing before everybody else was doing the deep prot thing because it was the way to go for threat. And like people just wanted to parse. They didn't care if they held the aggro. They just wanted the 99, man. It sucked. So I was prot the whole time and I was like on the bottom the whole time because everybody was Fury. But I'm happy with that. I really don't want to parse. It just pisses me off. Like every fight you do, you're gonna feel bad because you missed that one global and it's forever there. That's another why I play WoW.
One thing I've
The
noticed is it's not you blaming yourself. It's usually like blaming someone else for pulling a second early, or like they tanked in the wrong spot, or they moved too much, or something. Like I don't see a lot of like self reflection with parsing culture.
It's always someone else's fault, whether it's your
Always,
tank moving it
or like the healer
or
did you instantly, and you know something happened.
healer wasn't wanding enough.
Yeah,
But
I don't want it nearly enough.
usually the parsing comes down to everyone, your raid team really, and your kill times. That's the biggest thing that really infects it.
And how
Especially
many
for
people get
warriors.
Jerome Let's Die that have world buffs, which is usually
Yeah.
a few every fight.
Yeah.
You decide who lives and dies. That's too much power, man. I wish I had that.
Yeah, people think healing's boring, but I actually control the whole raid from the back line.
You just decide to eat
I
cereal in
control
the middle of a
everyone's
pool
lives.
and the raid is never the same.
I'm the Zalatath of raiding. You don't know who that is, but that's a pretty awesome character in WoW. If you kept up with retail.
That's the guy that throws swords
Pretty
at
big flex.
the planet.
No, that was
No,
Sargeras.
that's
Oh
Sargeras.
man.
Zalatath is the new big bad. She's pretty. She like doesn't really do.
Oh, the spider
she doesn't get her
lady.
hands dirty, but no. She's an elf, but she's like behind the
Ah.
spider lady. She's like pulling strings and
She's the jailer
avoiding
of
evil.
so far, before the
Yeah.
actual jailer's introduced. Because there will be someone above her for sure, but we don't know who yet.
Please
But
tell me
probably a bald
Sylvanas is
guy.
not coming back.
Well, her sister is like pretty much the main character in this
Oh
one.
my god.
Yeah.
Very similar. They're almost exactly the same character, really.
Did you see that she casts Sylvanas' spells?
Really.
Yeah, she just does like Dark Ranger trap, Dark Ranger arrow. Like it's the same animations of her shooting the bow. It's hilarious.
I just finished the story and it was great. I applauded. It was amazing.
I loved it too. I thought it felt like a completed story from start to end, and you didn't really have to know too much going into it. Like you just had to do the pre-patch event, and then
Yeah, are you hearing this,
like
Medina? You didn't have to know much going into it.
Yeah,
It's like-
like
Get right in there.
you guys realize that you're like talking like as if it were a Call of Duty campaign right now. That's basically what you're describing right there.
Okay, but like this Call of Duty is different. They've been working on it for like a long time, and it's
Yeah.
really good. And
Nothing like the
Have I
previous one.
self-contained. I can tell
Have-
you don't have to know the Call of Duty story to play this one.
have either of you guys played Final Fantasy at all? Final Fantasy
No.
14? Okay. It gave me big vibes of that, where like each expansion is just like a new story told from like the beginning of the expansion to the end, and it like has a conclusion, it ends, and it
telling
reminded me of that a lot.
That's Medina. That's the biggest pitch we can give is that it's self-contained. Like you don't. There's not. I've not felt any pull to go back to any other expansions. It's all like one area basically. They've really put like the professions. Like you can start a profession from that area. Which
That's
is kinda
actually
crazy.
a great thing. That's like my main gripe with retail. That like picking it up,
Yeah.
it feels insurmountable to me. Honestly, like if
Yeah,
I were
the
to
baggage. It's like
yeah.
they literally sat in a room and were like, "How can we get rid of all the baggage?"
Yeah, you
I
don't
mean, I'm
have to
happy
have
that's
done
a change
anything
then.
from anything before. Like you can just come in and start in the War Within. They literally give you a 70 boost for buying the game. Like just buying
That's a
the base
great
model
change.
of the game. They
Yeah, I
boost
spent
you right up to
$100
it.
on the game. It was such a good value.
Yeah, you got to play 4 days earlier.
I got 4 days of 4 days of the servers actually being reliable before the game came out. After that, my experience went down quite a bit.
Yeah, but you
I
played
just
before
used
the
it
nerf.
You're
that
right.
nerf
I
is
did.
so irrelevant, bro.
No. You don't understand. I went into my first dungeon and some tank didn't even wait for me. He like went into the bosses and the door would close and he just soloed them by himself in like 3 seconds and then go to the next boss. It was the,
the
worst
power level
experience.
the power level was way too much, and all they were doing it was averaging it out. Because like the first 5 levels, if you play Dragonflight, you were literally a god. Like you could pull anything that you could see, and then like after the first 5 levels, then you start to hit the wall where like 3 mobs could kill you. And so it was just equalizing that, like, so you weren't just
After those, it only took 20 minutes per level instead of 5 minutes. It was like crazy how nerfed it was. Yeah.
Wasn't it
Yeah,
a
the
problem in
leveling
BFA
is so
too?
mainstream.
That I remember like watching a really old video on it that
and it's
they took your artifacts
It
from
has
Legion
happened
at
every
some
time.
level, like 115, something like that. I don't remember the number. And like people like stayed 114 on purpose, and they could solo like max level stuff with the artifacts.
Pretty much what happened here, I think. Yeah. Because they blocked your ability to cap your level now, too. Like you couldn't just lock yourself at 70.
That's funny. They
New
just give you
class.
power and they take it away at every expansion.
Yes, it's called borrowed power. I've learned about this term ever since I started playing retail.
Yep.
That's a good
They've
name.
done a good job of getting it away. Legion, it was great because you had your weapons and like there was story behind it and there was a purpose and it was fun the first time. But then running on the hamster wheel for all of BFA and then into Shadowlands and then just nonstop, it just was like, ugh, this is too much.
Really, if there's 2 games I've been loving lately, it's retail, and I've been playing a lot of Concord as well. That game really feels like it's like my
You wanna
home for
play
a while.
tomorrow?
Yeah. I'm been
Let's play
making a lot of
tomorrow,
Concord
man.
videos. Let's definitely play tomorrow
Concord
for
player.
sure. I'm
Yeah.
in, dude. Let's do it.
We should quit WoW and stream that game. From tomorrow onwards, we're gonna only play Concord, guys. I'm putting all my stock
I'm
in it.
committed 100%. I'm ready.
For all the people in the audience that don't know what the hell we're talking about, like PlayStation released a game that was so bad they shut it down within 2 weeks, and they
Wait,
refunded
what?
everybody.
They shut it down?
They shut it down. It's
What?
shutting down tomorrow for real.
No way, bro.
It peaked out at 700 players. That was the peak, and it was like they spent $150 million on it. That's probably as big as the ET boom from Atari. That's gonna be like top 3 of the biggest bombs in the gaming history. It's insane.
Yeah, I just
We should
know that
stream
it
it.
flopped. I never played it. I don't know anything about it, but they're shutting down the servers Friday or Saturday, something. So
So I pulled up my own notes, and I'm realizing we forgot to talk about all the new dungeons coming. Possibly there's 3
yeah.
that may or may not be coming. And according to my notes, we have 3 possibilities, or none of them. Maybe none of these come out. Burning of Anderhall, which would, according to this very smart Wowhead post, this guy thinks it might be like EPL related and maybe like some kind of crazy chromey stuff. I don't know. I mean, that's because like if you watch the 20th anniversary video that they did, they literally talk about like chromey stuff too. And also they talk about like some kind of Tanara stuff. So I don't know, but we'll see. And then there's a Starfall Barrow Den, which is like Winter Spring, maybe some kind of like Furbog boss or something. I don't know. Who's the guy who drops the Firewater? Maybe we could fight like him.
The
be fun.
chieftain.
Well, the way I see it is very simple. You got a dungeon with Arthas, and then you got 2 other dungeons that nobody cares about.
Yeah, Anderhall is gonna be, if done right, they could do some awesome stuff with that. That whole legendary Uther Hammer, Mace, whatever the heck they're doing with that.
You think that's where it'll be? Like, so there's this legendary, like, weird temporary Datamined thing they found?
That thing would be the best weapon in all of Classic ever if it's used anywhere other than right there. So that would be, that dungeon could have potential, and we could see Caverns of Time open up. Chromie is also in the ruins of Anderhall right now. That's where like you had to originally go for the Chrono Boon quest.
You know why she lives there?
No.
It's because the rent's really cheap.
Oh.
I bet it is. I mean, it's like living in the ghetto there. It's full of zombies.
Well, she can. I mean, she's a time dragon, right? So she can technically be anywhere, anytime, at any point, forever. So she's really must like it there.
There's another Datamined dungeon. It would be called the Shadow Hold, and it would be in Jadenar. So what's weird about this is it's either the most likely by far because it's really similar to Demon Falls Canyon, or it's the least likely because it's really similar to Demon Falls Canyon. So, like, I don't know if that makes it more likely or less likely because it's exactly like DFC already.
I don't know. They put
kind of like not inspired.
They put a Manorot. What's the name? Like Gruul's. Not Gruul, sorry, Magteridon model on it, so we're gonna see that guy in there. I think that's pretty cool.
Wait, we fight Magteridon and
he's not Magteridon. He's like Magteridon's uncle or something. You know, like they're like related.
Yeah, it'd be his shadow.
Manorath from the was it Legion trailer, the one where he like drinks and then there's this giant demon guy.
Yeah, and then Grom jumps and hit him with the axe and he explodes like in Warcraft 3, but he doesn't die because I don't remember what happened. It's totally different.
Demons can only die if they die in the Twisting Nether, is the answer. So they just get resurrected.
I love that you know that for some reason.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Noble videos back in the day.
Are you saying that if I kill Varimatras in Warcraft 3, he comes back over and over, and that's because of that?
Yeah,
isn't that why they had to go to the planet to kill them once and for all or something?
Yeah. So when you kill Archimond in Warlords of Draenor, he dies because in the mythic version of the fight, you go into the portal and you're in the Twisting Nether. So that's why he's actually dead.
A mid-podcast news update? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we got a blue post about spell change. I was going to say that, but then you asked your dungeon question.
Oh, it's one of those Datamined things where I don't understand how it works because it's like they didn't explain it to me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this podcast has been changed from 101 to 0, and the MS has gone from -1 to 0. Thank you.
Oh, I'm gonna spend 40 minutes complaining about it tonight, I feel. I don't know, it looks like, do you see anything
this is just the stuff that they already mentioned, but I'm not...
Yeah, I think they just data mining the tooltips, because I'm looking at it right now, and like most of it are changes that they already said they were gonna do. That's just data mine tooltips.
Some of it's different, though. I mean, okay, so one thing that's maybe like some of the purple stuff, like these purple items are probably confirmed if they're in.
Let's see what
like these epics. We weren't sure they would come in the game, right? They were like there were a bunch of epics that they data mined, and they were like, well, this might not be in the game, but now if they're getting even more changes, it kind of implies they're in the game. Like
they also revamped. They also did do a lot with Phase 4, if we remember, when we went to Phase 4. Like, they had revamped legendaries, we had the Axis and Areas, and we haven't seen anything with all of those yet, so very possible with that, too. But yeah, those epic class weapons, I could see definitely being in the game.
I mean, some of these are PTR items. They are putting changes. Sorry, what?
The supercharged Gobmogrifier.
Oh,
activate
God.
Within Blackwing Lair to disguise yourself as a Blackwing technician? Is that new? That's got to be new.
No, those are the
Remember
goblins
that.
that give you the Elementium. They always been there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Maybe
Well,
that's so you can talk to them and learn it without having someone MC it to teach you.
If people turn me into a
I
goblin
don't
one
know.
more time, I'm gonna lose it, bro.
Yeah, it's so frustrating.
I wanna
don't
be
like when
a
they goblin
Tauren.
you?
I hate goblins.
It's
I'm really
pretty
excited
cool.
though if these epics are in the game. Like Cassandra's Tome for Priest gives you like 100% crit strike chance. There's a lot of really good like cool items. And a lot of them work kind of like Benediction, where it's like you get like 2 different modes. So it's like, oh, you want to be
That's
Shadow
really
or
neat.
whatever. It's cool.
We
Warrior gets one.
RMCs often turn into 20-man goblin raids because everyone has a trinket and they just goblin everyone. So at this
My
point, I'm
least
just
favorite
like,
thing
whatever.
in AV, it would demount you. I don't know if it still does, but it was like every single person would try to demount me, and I just so toxic.
Yeah, they fixed it finally, so that's gone. It just turns you into a goblin. It's cool as a druid because you actually get to see yourself swing your weapon. Like you're a bear, but you're just a goblin. So like you get to.
Oh, you can do it
You're
with
not the
hunter
form.
pets. You saw that? That's hilarious.
Yeah, pets you can do it too also.
Yeah, like when we go
This
pull
is-
get on with the hunter pet, like it's always a goblin. That's really funny.
Have you seen the, I don't know how to pronounce this, Suzerain Defender of the Dragonflights? It comes with a built-in Onyxia scale cloak that warriors can use.
Protects the wearer
And
from fully
warriors-
engulfed with shadow flame. Yeah, that's really cool, man. A shield. Oh,
yeah,
with...
now
yeah, this is Spyro the
okay, I just
Dragon.
thought of a,
You ever seen that shield before? It looks like Spyro the Dragon. You
No.
play the PS1 game? He's right there. That's Spyro the Dragon. Look at it.
oh, Spyro. Yeah, that is Spyro. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. They just blew it completely. They should have made it so all the extra affixes, every single one of the items gives you the Onyxia scale cloak, like one of them per class. And then everybody wouldn't have to run it anymore, and it'd be like a really unique way of like removing a mechanic.
I like that because
Now
it'll
I'm
be like
sad that they didn't
progression.
do that.
You know, like you get a little
But
better
they're
every
only doing it for
lockout.
warriors. They only warriors get it.
They gotta change that. They gotta put that on every special weapon. I would be surprised if they don't.
I mean, it does look like a purple dragon. Spyro is more like child friendly though. This dragon looks
This
like
looks like a
it would kill you and eat your soul.
cartoon. Look at the drawing. It looks like he's made out of Play-Doh. This dragon, man.
He looks like he would murder you. He's got red eyes and like.
That looks like Spyro's dad, if anything.
Yeah, Spyro's alcoholic dad. You know, like with the belt and stuff. That's the angle they went for. Absolutely.
You know, if you flip it over, this shield's completely made out of wood. This thing is not durable. It's just
What
spray
happens if
painted
you throw
wood.
fire at it?
Yeah, if you look at the back, it's just spray painted wood. This is totally a ripoff.
Let's see. Oh my god, it's true. Look at it. Yeah, like it's just like one
Beautiful.
guy that spent like an afternoon of arts and crafts making this shield, and we're just like talking bad about it, man. I feel bad now. He spent all day
the
painting
artist
it.
is great. I'm just saying, like, if it was in real life, this would be the worst possible thing to use against a dragon.
Probably, you know, like it's probably not fireproof. I bet you the wood isn't even coated. Just like a pine plank right there. That's the last thing you want to have against fire.
Oh, I just read the tool. I don't know why I didn't read this before. If you get hit by the dragon's breath, it grants you extra damage against dragons for 10 seconds, 30% extra.
That's
so
a
like
lot.
you tank it and then you just
get
like
breath.
turn it against them.
Sheesh.
God, they're coming up with so many creative ideas for you. I get like a critical
Sucks
strike
to be a
bonus.
priest, don't it?
Great.
Druids just get a hammer replacement, so you know. It's better than
I think
the rag
druids just
hammer.
have to take whatever they can get at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, they got
They get a
sulfurous. How can
playable
they be
class.
upset?
Well,
on,
it's
man.
getting replaced by this class
Yeah.
weapon. So
That,
But
I'm
I
sure
think
they're gonna
druids
be
ha-
happy about it.
druids can rejoice that they're wanted and desired and get to play in classic. I think that's what druids are happy about.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
they
like
can't complain much.
cats are like top tier. Bears are really good. I don't think they like Bunkins can complain other ones, but like Resto is also really decent. They are doing pretty good. I don't think they are complaining
Okay,
much.
I literally wait. What's the refined Eye of Sulfuris?
Oh, what?
Is because I see that in the patch notes too. Is that a real thing? It doesn't have a Wikipedia entry.
Oh,
Maybe
I
they're
think
giving you an upgrade.
no. I think
Probably
that's cosmetic.
if I had to guess, it would let you keep your fire kitty. Like you probably
Yep,
augment the staff and get to be the fire kitty.
that's probably because like why would they put just the cosmetic effect on it otherwise? It's like what they did with
They
Yeah.
the
spent
wolf head
millions on this
helm.
effect. They can't get rid of it now.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
gonna be
Most of
so
their
they-
budget
upset.
went into this.
Yeah,
80% of
definitely
development for
huge.
Phase 5 went into making the Fire Cat.
Yeah, dude, it's actually true. I got that number.
When are we getting fire bear? That's what we really need to see.
You're asking for too much. I don't think
I
did
know.
they because I'm
No,
pretty
they
sure it's
didn't.
just the
That would be
retail
new.
fire cat. It's like 90% the same. So I don't
It's-
think they have a fire bear.
It's straight up from Firelands. So,
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunate.
I mean, they could just get a bear and paint it orange like they did with my shield, you know? Just
Just
do the
turn 'em
same
orange.
treatment to it. Draw a dragon on it. Nobody's gonna know this, apparently. I'm the only one complaining.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Thanks,
Well,
Mom. You're gonna have to cut that out of the video. I just had to say hi to my mom.
You're being a polite son.
She
How's
made
that bad?
tacos.
I got
Well, she
one
made
last
tacos.
question for you. Oh, that's good. I got one last
Final
question for you.
question.
Oh yeah. I'll save this one for last because I know that's gonna get people upset, and that's good for the ratings. You know how that works.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to
yep.
bait them with the GDKP thing earlier, but you guys didn't really take it.
I don't know. People
I
are
was just
kind
like,
of
oh,
over
so
it.
is it causing the population to plummet that they allowed GDKPs? I thought that would really get some people, but no one really noticed. So
Yeah, they
But-
no bait.
no bait. What do you guys got?
No, is PvP forever cooked?
Is PvP cooked?
Oh yeah. And the reason I'm using the word cook
Uh.
is because if you look at the Shockadin set bonuses, I think people's faces are gonna melt.
Okay, but the
Yeah.
problem is everyone has like 20,000 health, so the Shakaden, like they just I need to be their full-time Shakaden consultant because I played Shakaden in
Oh,
TBC
God.
all the time. I loved it so much. It's you stack a bunch of spell power, you get a bunch of crit, and you one-shot people. But that doesn't work if they have 12,000 health. Like they're just increasingly buffing Shakaden over and over again. But if they can't one-shot, I don't want to play it. Like I don't want it to do 30% of your health, you know? It has to one-shot people straight up. It's like you're healing, then you one-shot a guy, and then you go back to healing again. It's like hilarious.
How about you do 99% of the damage? Would that be acceptable, or like would you like be
Well, that's
upset
where
at
they're
it?
heading with these Shakaden buffs. Every single like patch that they put out is another Shakaden buff.
50% buff, man. That's pretty big, I would say.
I mean, at some point, it's just gonna be the go-to PVE and like PvP class is just like you're running around shocking everybody. But I don't think
Shocking
it's like the
Nefarian and he
dream of
dies.
Shakaden. I played Shakaden in Gruul and I did 300 DPS and they kicked me out of the grade. So I don't know. Like, I mean, I was wholly shocking him as much as I could and it just wasn't pumping.
I've seen Smite Priest do more damage than that, and they also got kicked out of the raid, though.
Yep.
True
They
story.
always do.
I feel like everyone in SoD like PvP is just to get their PvE gear. Like
Yeah.
I don't really think people go out there in PvP. As you can see with AV coming into the fold, everyone's just doing it for their rank or their AV exalted. PvP's just been really like kind of almost broken in SoD to a degree. The events have been kind of fun, but people just kind of min-max those too. Like I feel like people don't PvP to PvP, they PvP to get their PvE gear or to just be as toxic as possible and grief people. Like
Wait a minute, that's what I'm doing.
Well, you know, that is a play style, but I don't really think that's good.
I do these.
Like,
We do these
PvP.
AVs where we trap everyone in them for like 3 hours, defending as much as we can.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like,
what's
really
up with
fun.
that? Every time I bring you up, people are like, he's the guy that, like I say, Jerome did something, Jerome is this, and people go like, that's the guy that keeps turtling my ABs, man. Why are people so upset at you?
Because the games are supposed to last 3 minutes, and we just like show up and just defend until the game's like 4 hours long.
Oh god.
Do you
which
ever
is
do you summon the shaman?
Yeah, of course we
at all?
every time we
Okay.
can. Yeah, every time. It's like half the fun.
I enjoy.
My theory
I
is that
enjoy those.
they're like kind of like sandbagging this phase for PvP, and because I think they're gonna make like one of the phases like the PvP phase, and it's going to be like a war song AB extravaganza. It doesn't feel like it'll be this phase though for some reason.
I hope they do something in Ajara. It's such a beautiful zone that has absolutely nothing there, and it's just
You
so
know
much
about
potential.
Ashara Crater, right?
Yeah.
There is a cancelled PvP battleground in Ashara, actually. It's almost done.
They could do so much with Ajara. So much.
Yeah. I mean, like, my problem with, like, PvP in general is, like, of course it's gonna break when you give everybody 4 times the damage. Now, the thing is, should PvP balance come at the cost of PvE balance? Because you're gonna have both, right? Like, if something is too strong in PvP and you nerf it, it's probably gonna ruin the PvE and so forth, and vice versa, you know? I don't know how I would fix it.
I know it's not very classic, but they already have the solution. It's just PvP power. Make your eye level of your gear. It's like this is how it is right now in War Within. Like your eye level is like 300 when you have your PvP gear on, so it's like just absolutely terrible. And then when you enter PvP combat, it goes up to like 600. So then everyone is set to that level and it's relatively equalized. I know it's against the spirit of classic, but that's the only way we will ever find true PvP balance is if they use something like a PvP power stat or something like that.
I mean, I wonder, like, why they haven't introduced resilience or something at this point. Like, if they ever want to, like, fix PvP, they're going to have to put something in there. Like what you are saying, I don't know, there's, like, other workarounds maybe, but they gotta do something, and they are doing nothing. So I think they don't really prioritize PvP at all. I don't disagree with that, mind you, but I think PvP is gonna be pretty cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, the torturing AV things, like people in chat are already getting upset at you. You're pretty infamous. You're pretty infamous, Jerome. I don't know what you did to these people.
Well, it's
That's
just
crazy.
A lot of fun, you know. You just make their expectations are the worst, right? You expect something to take 5 minutes and it takes 6 hours. It's like all of a sudden they're not very happy.
The guy in AV is like, I gotta go to work, boy. See you in 8 hours, and he comes back from work.
I had this Hearthstone strat. I don't know if you ever played Hearthstone, but there was this concept called like there was a timer. It's like a rope, and when the rope, I think it like had to explode or something. So there was these decks. Like there was this warrior deck. I think I don't know if it was warrior, whatever it was, and it was called roping. So you would literally play as slow as you could with the slowest possible deck, and a lot of people would have to go to work or something, so they just have to leave.
That's a huge problem in Yu-Gi-Oh!
I did that one set to get to Legends. You
did
rope.
it?
Yeah. I wanted to get it, so I was like, let's see if this works, and then people just leave the game. Like they're like, I'd rather just go play 3 more games than sit here for this.
Yeah, in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's they call it slow playing.
Maximum time. Slow playing, yeah. Well, the like rope was because there's like this animation of a rope.
Yeah, it was called rope because that was the timer.
If you're in a tournament, it doesn't work in a tournament because they don't have anywhere else to be. So it's like it's the worst tournament strategy.
Mm-hmm.
No. Actually,
climbing.
They had to put several rules on it. When I was a kid, it was like a big deal. You would be like a 12-year-old kid going like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh!" And some like 40-year-old guy is like trying to get you to quit just by playing as slowly as possible. Because they had to change the whole timer rules for it. It was awful, man.
Remember this Zootopia? That's how I play Hearthstone.
Have you ever done double healer 2s in arena? Or double like tank?
In TVC, yes.
Oh
it's
yeah,
annoying.
100%. Yeah.
You go double tank or double healer and just make your other team quit. It's brutal to play like that, but
that's like a video from Rekful of why he got this. Why he didn't qualify for BlizzCon, and he was fighting like a comp that was 2 healers and a Blood DK, and the Blood DK just ran the timer on them or something like that. You remember that? Like a 40-minute match. And there's like footage of him like yelling off the top of his lungs, like, "What is this?" The guy was losing it. I feel so bad every time I watch it. That's the way to go, though. If you really want to win, that's the way to go.
Yeah, don't actually win, just waste their time.
Piss them off, man. Alright, guys, is there anything else you want to say? We are really on track here.
I had a lot of fun. We talked pretty much everything that's coming for Phase 5, Thanks for having me. Pretty much, that's all I got.
Be careful in Ohio, guys.
And if you want to find his videos, all you have to do is search literally anything that's ever happened in WoW, and he's got a video ready to go, high quality and sitting there. So,
Yeah, my
just
goal
how
is
it
to, anytime I have to Google something to answer a question that I don't know the answer to, that's what it is.
That's a
That
really good way
motivates
of
the
looking
video.
at it.
Yeah, so hopefully at one day someone can, every question will be answered by one of my videos.
There's a guy on YouTube that just does like
Yeah.
locations of stuff. So it'll be like, I just searched for an NPC, and it's just like, it's a video of him like flying to the NPC and then like the map. And he's done like thousands of these, and they all get views.
Yeah, like the best part is when a face comes out and there's no runes and like nobody knows where they are, and like there's 20 videos like AI videos of like a guy that says here's where you get the rune and it's not even true. It's just like a debate for 8 minutes.
Ooh, I'm pretty sure I got debated by one of them because they said a rune was in a location and I never found it. Like it was never like, I never saw the rune. So.
Turns out the rune wasn't
those
even in the game.
I did Druid because I leveled Druid first, and like the first couple runes blew up. And then seeing other people cover classes with those AI baits is what's inspired me the most to do one for every single class in phase 1.
That is inspirational. Now I'm inspired.
Yeah, I was like, I can do this way better. I can show people. I can explain it in a way that you can't possibly mess it up. And that was the thought process. Now we're about to be 400 videos deep in SoD, so
that's crazy.
We're about to come up on number 400.
I think I barely made 400 videos in 3 years. Wow. I'm scared now.
I made 40 videos in 3 years, so can't relate to any of this.
I guess we're not working hard enough, Jerome. We gotta get that cranking. So, Kago, where can we find you, though? Too many about the videos.
Kaghoegaming on YouTube or on Twitch. Kaghoegaming everywhere.
That's right. You better subscribe. I'm gonna be linking
something
it on
that's been eating at me. When we first joined the Discord, I called him Jay Tello because I just assumed it would be Jay Tello.
He couldn't come today. He was actually supposed to be here.
Now that I've said it out loud, I've atoned for my sins, so we don't have to think about it anymore.
Well, you didn't know, bro. You didn't know. He was in the stuff and everything. He's gonna probably be somewhere else. He had a bit of an issue. But we're gonna see him soon. Don't worry about it. And Jerome, where can we find you? Aside from my room, which I am very concerned about.
First, your room. Second, YouTube. Usually like 3 days after the Kago video on whatever topic it is. So just, look at the dates, right? I'm a little late on everything. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Vine too. Vine.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Got a Vine going.
And I'm very active on the Concord. Yeah, you can see me on a lot of the servers in Concord.
Yeah, well, yeah, guys, don't worry. We're going to start the Concord podcast tomorrow. This has been the 12th episode of the Unofficial WoW podcast. This has been yours truly, Sam Medina, the handsomest Tauren in the Southern Hemisphere, Australia not included, of course. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. And God help Agrin. See you guys.